Hello, it is October the 16th, the year 2012, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, sports fans, so let's get it going right now. First up, the NFL last night, the Monday night game in San Diego. Denver with a huge comeback. Denver 35, San Diego 24. San Diego led 24-0 at the half, had everything going their way, and Denver comes back with 35 straight unanswered points in the second half, and they beat the Chargers 35-24. Excellent win for Denver. Horrible, horrible loss for San Diego. You cannot lose a 24-0 lead in your own building. San Diego, 6 turnovers. Phillip Rivers, 4 interceptions, throwing the ball all over the place, throwing it to Denver consistently. I mean, just awful passing by Phillip Rivers. He didn't have a clue in the second half last night. Dumerville and Von Miller, tremendous rushing the passer for Denver as well. Peyton Manning, 24 for 30, 309 yards. He was tremendous in the second half, leading the comeback. Decker and Stokely, the receivers for Denver, both have nice games. Denver, 4 sacks. San Diego, no sacks. I mean, this was a tremendous win by Denver. San Diego had a chance to go to 4-2. They had a chance to separate themselves from the division. They could have had a 2-game lead in the division. They could have put Denver in a big hole. Instead, San Diego does what they do every single year, year after year after year. They disappoint, they disappoint, they disappoint, and they fall on their face in a big spot like a bunch of other teams in the NFL that we expect so much from, like the Cowboys, like the Eagles, like the Lions, like just so many other teams out there in the league. The Chargers are one of those teams that cannot get out of their own way. They continue to disappoint, and last night was a culmination of years of this behavior by San Diego. Awful loss by the Chargers. Tremendous win by Denver, and this turns that whole division around. Like I said, San Diego could have had a 2-game lead, could have been 4-2. Instead, they let Denver off the hook, and now they're tied for the division at 3-3. And San Diego again is in mediocrity land. Unbelievable win for the Broncos. Just an atrocious loss by the Chargers and North Turner. I mean, have we seen enough of North Turner coaching the Chargers? When are they going to finally let him go and change this whole team around? I thought this year they'd be a little better. Their defense looked a little more organized. They were 3-1, and what do? They lose to the Saints, who hadn't won a game, and now they blow this big 24-0 lead at home to Denver. I am so disgusted with San Diego. It's not even funny. And you know what also I noticed about San Diego? There's so many fans from the opposition. I don't know if it's the weather or it's easy to get tickets there. Every time I watch a Charger game when they're home, there are so many fans from other teams, whether it be the Steelers or the Cowboys or the Giants. Last night, there was a sea of orange in that crowd. There were a lot of Bronco fans there. I know in general it's easier to get tickets these days, and there are a lot of fans in opposing stadiums. But in San Diego, it's pronounced. There's always a tremendous amount of the other fans in the building. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe I don't know what it is. But just a great job by Denver last night. Awful, awful, awful loss by the Chargers. I mean, I just can't get over how bad they played in the second half. And Phillip Rivers, awful in the second half, just throwing the ball to the other team. Terrible job. Real quick. Let's go over the standings real quick now. 6 weeks has been complete in the NFL. Let's quickly go over the standings. NFC East, Giants are 4-2, leading the division. It's amazing. The Giants are leading the division again. I thought maybe with the Super Bowl hangover and the tough schedule, and they got off to a little slow start. Dallas beat them in the opener in Giants Stadium. There the Giants are, 4-2, leading the division. We know they can beat anyone. Philly, 3-3, trapped in mediocrity. Washington's done a nice job at 3-3. I don't expect much from them. I don't expect them to be a playoff team. They really have done a nice job at 3-3. Dallas, another one of those teams, 2-3. Another disappointment again for Dallas. They win their opener at New York. You figure they're going to have a decent season. They improve their secondary. You look at the standings. I mean, they're in last place. I mean, I know it's early, but the writing's on the wall again for the Cowboys. The NFC North, Chicago Bears leading the way at 4-1. Bears have done a nice job. Their defense looks tremendous. Nice job by the Bears. Minnesota at 4-2. Can't complain about them. They won 3 games last year. They've already won 4. Tremendous job by them. Green Bay at 3-3. They're going to be heard from. They did a nice job against Houston. They blew out Houston. They go to 3-3. We're going to hear from Green Bay, I'm sure. Detroit's 2-3. They're in last place. Overall, I've been disappointing. They did save their season with the win at Philly this past weekend. They got to build off that, though. They're 2-3, last place, tough division. So Detroit, although they did have the nice win, they have to still improve, still have to build off that. NFC South, Atlanta 6-0, pulling out games left and right, every which way. Matt Ryan, as long as there's time on the clock's going to pull the game out. I'd like to see them have a better running game. I'd like to see, Turner get the ball more. But right now you can't say too much bad about Atlanta. They're 6-0, defense looks improved. Nice job by them. Tampa Bay 2-3. They are playing hard for Shiano. They probably could have another win or two. They are playing hard. We know they're not great. Carolina very disappointing at 1-4. Looks like the sophomore jinx for Cam Newton. Their defense is atrocious. Not a great job by Carolina at all. And the Saints, we know they're 1-4. Could be a lost year for the Saints. They did get a win the last time they played. Let's see if they can build off that. They have a long way back, though. Could be a long year for the Saints. NFC West. Arizona, nice job at 4-2. Defense is tremendous. We know their offense isn't that great, but their defense is ferocious. Love the defense. Done a nice job at 4-2. Seattle, same thing. Defense looks tremendous. Offense needs a little work. Home crowd is tremendous, but overall, nice job. 4-2 Seattle, tremendous job. San Francisco at 4-2, a little disappointing. They got manhandled by Minnesota and got destroyed by the Giants in their own building, which I did not like. So overall, nice record, 4-2, but a little disappointing for San Francisco. St. Louis 3-3, much improved, playing hard for Fisher. Defense looks good. I would like them to get a few more weapons for Bradford. Overall, though, can't complain. That division is much improved in general. Real quick over to the AFC. New England, the AFC East, New England 3-3, very disappointing. Lost 3 games. They really could have won. Lost 3 games right at the end. We'll see if New England can get it together. Jets 3-3, ho-hum. I think the Jets are an 8-8 team. That's what they're looking at here. Buffalo 3-3, same thing. I think they're an 8-8 team. Miami, nice job at 3-3, much better than I thought. They actually could be better than 3-3. Tannehill looks very good, playing hard. I like what I see from Miami. The future looks bright for them. AFC North, Baltimore 5-1. They've been pulling games out too. The thing about Baltimore is they now lose Ray Lewis for the year. They lose their quarterback Webb for the year. They will be getting Suggs back, so that's a plus. The Ravens are now an offensive team. They're not so much a defensive team. They are 5-1. They're one of only 2 teams in the whole AFC that's over 500, Houston being the other one. So you can't complain too much about the Ravens. They are 5-1. They do have a few injuries to look out for. Big game this week, by the way, Baltimore at Houston, the 2 teams that are over 500. That's an interesting game. Winner of that game could have home field throughout the AFC playoffs, so we'll keep an eye on that game. Cincinnati 3-3. I mean, a little disappointing lately. They were 3-1, had a nice start. Lost their last 2 games. Defense looks terrible. Offense looks really good. I'd like to see them get better on defense. I mean, they can't outscore people every week. I do like their play calling. I like Dalton. I like A.J. Green. But on the defensive side of the ball, they're giving up too many points. I mean, they gave up 34 points to Cleveland. That's hard to do. So Cincinnati, a little disappointing, 3-3. Steelers at 2-3. Very disappointing. I mean, losses to Oakland and Tennessee. 0-3 on the road. Can't make a big stop. Defense having all sorts of problems. Injuries all over the place. Very disappointing. When you look at the Steelers, 2-3, they really should be 4-1. No way should they have lost to Oakland and Tennessee, especially the way they lost. I mean, terrible. Can't hold the lead in the 4th quarter against those 2 bad teams. Terrible job by the Steelers. Browns 1-5. I mean, the Browns have looked better. We know it's going to be a long year. Whedon's looked better, but we don't expect much from the Browns. Also, one note on the Browns. Cleveland Browns have sold their team, and Holmgren will be out. He will retire at the end of the year, so Holmgren out for Cleveland. The AFC South, Houston 5-1. Like I said, they're one of 2 undefeated teams in the AFC. They host the Ravens this week. Big game. Little disappointed with Houston the last 2 weeks. They didn't look great against the Jets. They got blown out by Green Bay at home. I'll give them a little break. It's their only loss, but I'm seeing some signs with Houston I don't like. Cushing out for the year. Johnson, the receiver. There's some rumors he's getting a little old in the tooth. So I'm not liking what I've seen the last couple of weeks from Houston. I do like their team overall, though. They are 5-1. Colts 2-3. We know Luck's going to be good. Colts will be good at home this year. They won't travel well. I mean, it's going to take a few years for the Colts to get better. Tennessee 2-4. Very disappointing year for Tennessee, even though they did beat the Steelers in their last game. Overall, very disappointing for Tennessee. I don't expect much from them this year. Jacksonville 1-4. I mean, we know we're not going to get much from them this year. They got a long way to go, Jacksonville, on both sides of the ball. AFC West, San Diego 3-3. Like I said, they're in mediocrity as usual. Had a big chance last night to go 2 games ahead in the division. As usual, they fall on their face there. 3-3 overall, disappointing. Denver 3-3. They've had a tough schedule, so look for Denver to maybe have a decent last 10 games of the year. They have a very tough schedule. They had a big win last night, 3-3, but maybe on the rise. Denver. Oakland 1-4. They had a tough loss this week at Atlanta. They could have won that game. Overall, it's going to be a long year for Oakland. I don't know what they do going further here in the future. I mean, say Oakland gets the #1 pick. Do they take Barkley? I mean, they have Palmer there. He's older, though, so a lot of decisions to be made in Oakland. Kansas City at 1-5, perhaps the most disappointing team in the whole NFL. Terrible job by everyone. Matt Castle out with a concussion. He didn't play well when he was in. Brady Quinn, the backup, not good. Offensive line, awful. They're fumbling the ball all over the place. Receivers have been disappointing. They can't stop anyone on defense. Turnovers everywhere. Romeo Crennel, terrible. Just a shame that Kansas City fans have to watch this slop week after week. One more note on the NFL. The defensive coordinator for the Eagles, Castillo, was fired today. That was a bad move from the beginning. He was an offensive coach who wanted to be a defensive coach. They made him full-fledged defensive coordinator last year, which made no sense. I thought after last year they would fire him in the offseason. They brought him back, and now finally they let him go. The Eagles have bigger problems than him, though. The Eagles need to hold on to the ball to start off with. So Castillo out in Philadelphia. Real quick, the baseball. San Francisco won last night, 7-1 over St. Louis. Vogelsong wins. He looked good. Carpenter, shockingly, didn't pitch well for the Cardinals. He's usually money in the bank. He didn't pitch well at all. San Francisco wins 7-1. They even that series 1-1. Back to St. Louis we go. Off day today for that series. Yankees tonight will try and show some sort of life. They're down 2-0. They go to Detroit now for 3 games. They face Verlander tonight. If the Yankees are going to show any sign of life, it's going to be tonight. Because if they go down 3-0, forget it. They're not getting out of Detroit. If any team can do it, the Yankees can. But A-Rod, Granderson, Cano, Swisher, whoever else, everyone needs to wake up in that lineup. They're getting great pitching. No one can hit. They can't get a big hit unless they hit a home run. They don't drive in any runs. So we'll see if the Yankees can make this a series tonight. Okay, so tonight, keep an eye on the baseball, Yankees, Detroit. Tomorrow, we are going to do all the college football. We're going to break down all the big games over the weekend. I'm going to give you all my picks for the college football. Then Thursday, wall-to-wall NFL. We're going to do every game, pick every game. So Wednesday, all college football. Thursday, all NFL football, baseball sprinkled in, whatever else is going on in the sports world, we'll throw that in as well. You guys have a great day. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.